Hey guys, Miss Pat over here. For today's chemistry assignment, we are going to be focusing on chemical reactions and we are going to brush up on naming equations. So before you get started with this work, it's super important that you have a reference table in front of you or one on your computer that you can look at because you're going to need to refer to it throughout this assignment. So make sure that your periodic table of elements is open and that you have access to that next page, which identifies the names of each element symbol. So let's get into it. So that first problem, it's the example. It says NaI plus F2 yields, which is a fancy way of saying turns into, NaF plus I2. So the first thing that I want to do is just make sure that we identify each of the elements that are in this problem so we know which ones we are working with. So I'm going to put an orange mark around the Na on both sides. So we know that Na is one element. I'm going to put a yellow around this I on both sides. And then lastly, I'm going to put a red around my F on both sides. So the reason I do that is just to remind me that each of these elements, although at times they might be compounded together, that they are actually their own element that are going to be named separately. So let's get started. So the first thing that I want to do is just going into my reference table, I want to make sure that I know the names of each of my elements. So I'm going to make a little note key for myself. So a little key right here. So we have Na, we have F, and we have I, and I'm gonna make sure that I know all of the names so that when I work with it, I have it right here ready to go. So my Na is sodium, my F is fluorine, my I is iodine. So again, these right here are the symbol, and here are their names. Okay, so we know that Na is sodium, and I is iodine. However, when it is compounded with another element, we change that INE to IDE. So it no longer is sodium iodine, it becomes sodium iodide. So we changed, again, just those last three letters from INE to IDE. And then it gets added with fluorine. Now, because fluorine is by itself, it stays fluorine. So plus fluorine becomes, so again, we know that that Na is sodium. And now our F has compounded with our Na. So whereas last time our F was by itself, it stayed fluorine, this time, since F compounds with Na, we have to change that INE to IDE. So it becomes sodium fluoride plus I2. So we know that I is iodine. This now is by itself, so we just write it as it would normally be written, iodine. So the only changes here that I'm going to highlight are our iodine, when it was compounded with sodium, became iodide, IDE. And then right here, our fluorine, when it was compounded with sodium, becomes fluoride. So again, the only times that you are going to change the ending, and let's just take one quick note, change ending of last three letters in second element of compound, and the element stays with its original name, when it is by itself. So that's F2 and I2, and I'll do the same right here. That's NAI, the I gets changed, and NAF, the F gets changed. So I hope that helps, and I wish you all the best, and you know that I am always here to help you even further when you need. Right, good luck, and I will see you guys soon.